Here is my list of home decor that is a waste of your money. And actually, it's not just my list. It's all of our lists, I guess. I came up with a list of home decor that I think is not worth your money or it's a waste of your money. But I also posted to my Instagram at Wasslepa. Again, that's where I post things on my stories, questions, submissions, all of that jazz. But anyways, I wanted to see what you all thought was a waste of money in purchasing home decor, buying things for your house, decorating your house. And it was interesting, some of the results, because there were quite a few that really went in on some specific things that I didn't think were going to necessarily make it on the list. I mean, I agree with everything, but yeah, it's interesting to see how many people said certain things. So here is my extensive list of home decor that is a waste of your money. So listen up, PSA, don't spend money on these things unless you want to, of course. First up, trendy lighting. Well, specifically trendy ceiling lighting, if this makes sense. Obviously, I talk about all the time that, you want to shy away from trends. You want to get lasting things. I actually think lighting in general is a good way to participate in a trend without having to spend too much money. But when it comes to a ceiling light or a pendant light or something that is more permanent, I definitely don't think you should go down a trendy path. And one of the main trends that I am seeing in lighting, ceiling lights, are these can lights that aren't in the ceiling. They're not recessed. They kind of like jolt out. I'm showing you a photo. That's what they are. A lot of people are replacing their can lights in their homes with these guys. And let me tell you, when I first saw them, I'm like, wow, these are cool. This is modern. These are unique and fun. And look at these outdated can lights or whatever. But as I dug into them more, and specifically for a few design projects that I'm working on, I've had to decide whether to do can lights or track lights or something like this. And I came to the conclusion that I feel like these are going to look extremely outdated in, 6 years, maybe less. However, I don't think they're ugly. I think they are cool. I think they will most likely go out of style. And I just don't know if it's worth it to spend that extra money on these types of lights. A can light is a can light. Bottom line, we've been using them for years, and I don't think you can really go wrong with a can light. They are in the ceiling. They provide some extra light when you need. You can put them on dimmers. You could not use them if you don't want. So I do think it's a waste of money to go in that direction, unless you want to. Or I think it's fun to mix it up, at least. For a project I'm on right now, we did the whole house in can lights, but then there were some specific areas where we were like, oh, these types of lights would be fun to shine on like an art piece or something specific. So anyways, moving on, that's my first one. What do you think? How do you feel about what I'm saying? One of the main responses I got when I posted this little questionnaire was rugs. Low quality rugs. That was one of the top responses that people said, don't waste your money on this. Let me tell you something. A good quality rug and a bad quality rug are still going to be expensive. Obviously, they're not in the same ranges. But let's say you want to get a 8x10 or a 9x12 rug, a large area rug. It can be pricey. Even a cheap rug in that size will be around $800 to $1,000. Maybe you could go lower depending, but I feel like you're entering a zone of something that's really bad quality and also doesn't look good. And rugs are the most expensive pieces that you're going to be buying for your house, which is annoying. I guess not the most expensive, but it's definitely an investment piece. And I think almost everyone who submitted this answer was saying that they should have just waited and saved up for a good quality rug. And my advice will be just get a vintage rug. You can get something really good quality. Go get it professionally cleaned. I don't think buying a cheap rug just so you can have something is worth the money. It's really going to end up in a landfill and you're going to have to buy something new. So I guess you could rotate through a bunch of cheap rugs, or just buy, one good one vintage one from Etsy. Or I do think it's a good area to splurge. If you're going to really splurge on something, a rug. They last a lifetime. Which brings me to my next point, which also a lot of people responded with this answer, which is placeholder furniture. When you first move into a place, you obviously want to furnish it quick. And if you've been here watching me for a while, I'm always encouraging you all my best friends, to take it slow. I don't even feel like I'm done with my house necessarily. There are definitely spaces and things I want to replace or get new or whatever. But having a placeholder, I don't think is worth it unless it's, from your grandma's garage or you thrifted it and you're like, this side table could work. I wouldn't use a placeholder from Wayfair or Amazon just to have it, in my opinion. Unless it's something you really, really need, I at least would thrift it. But placeholder, quick furniture, obviously, fast furniture, all of that. If you're using it just for now, you're like, let's just get this for now, and then we'll invest. I don't think it's worth your money. It's not worth your time putting it together. It's not worth it. I'd rather have a ugly sofa that was passed down through my family as the placeholder that I got for free, but maybe it's not cute, instead of a cheap Wayfair one. So placeholder furniture, people, don't do it. You all know I'm a fan of IKEA. I like IKEA. I think if you're going to get some affordable furniture from, a site like that, I would go with IKEA. However, I wouldn't waste your money on their dressers. Anything that could potentially be particle board, I wouldn't waste your money on that. I think IKEA has some pretty substantial, furniture pieces. I actually really like a lot of their metal case pieces. I think their shelves are nice. But when it comes to their dressers, their side tables, maybe some of their coffee tables, I would avoid wasting money on any of their wood furniture pieces. I mean, unless it's solid wood, I just think, again, you have to put it all together with the little wrench thing. And a lot of people who responded talked about how IKEA furniture just falls apart real quick. Oh. We've got a passerby. Another area in decor that I don't think you should waste your money on is hiding tech. I think the guy's gone now. Blasting music. Good music. Hiding tech in your house. You know what I mean? Certain things don't always need to be hidden. I don't think you need to spend a ton of money on certain cupboard things that hide all of your appliances in your kitchen. I think having some of those out is nice. Also, if you're going to put your microwave away, you don't need to make a specific section for it. Just have an outlet in one of your cabinets and it can just sit in there. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't need to always hide tech. Sometimes I think a little touch of tech, which we've talked about, can kind of look nice, or it just looks real. You don't want your house to look too perfect. I don't think any of us are really doing that. And obviously I'm a prop stylist at heart, so I do like to have my place nice and organized and styled and whatnot. But I also want to be realistic and not put my time and energy into hiding certain tech, like your TV. You can just have your TV out. It's fine. I toyed with the idea of putting an art piece over my TV, but then I was like, I watch TV. What can I say? Which actually brings me to my next point of the Samsung TV, which was also a huge response to my questionnaire. And I've had a Samsung TV, the Samsung Frame TV. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. I've had that when it first came out. I definitely was one that was like, ooh, fun, cool, a frame. Now I'm like, why do I want a frame on my TV? This is just a piece of technology. I don't need to mask it to look like an art piece. And the art that goes on the TV doesn't even look real. So I did end up selling it. I actually, when I moved out of my Chicago place, I took the TV with me here, hauled it all the way out here, and then it was too big for my space. So I ended up selling it, and now I just have like I don't even know, something cheap. Hey, you, real quick, we're going to take a little break to talk about today's sponsor, Chime. So credit scores. Everyone says they are important, yet we don't really learn about them until we reach adulthood, along with quite a few other life skills. But what I do know is that your credit score is extremely important and also very easy to mess up. After I graduated college, I think there was 1 month where I wasn't paying student loans and my credit plummeted. And I really could have used a service like Chime to help me out, because once your credit score is down, it really is very difficult to bring it back up. Chime offers a credit builder Visa credit card, which is extremely exciting if you're trying to build yourself good credit. There are no annual fees, no interest, and no credit check to apply. You don't need the perfect credit score to start improving your credit score. With their safer credit building feature, your payments are automatic. You can literally set it, forget it, and then just let your credit build naturally. Life is already stressful. I have a constant to-do list, so any service like Chime to help take anything off of my plate is very helpful. I don't want to be spending a lot of hours focusing on my finances. I want to be vintage shopping and other things and eating good food and drinking good wine and matcha. Head to the link in my description to sign up for Chime and get your finances organized today. It makes life so much easier. And thanks again, Chime, for sponsoring this video. Now back to whatever I was blabbing about. Throw pillows with a zipper. All of my throw pillows have zippers because pillows get dirty. I don't know why, you sleep on a pillowcase at night, but you're also laying on throw pillows all the time, especially over years and years of use of these throw pillows. If they don't have a zipper, are you washing them? Are you washing your throw pillows? Okay, here's one response that I got a lot of that I was like, interesting. I actually would like to know your feedback on this. But when it comes to getting organized in your home, whether it's your pantry or wherever it may be, everyone was saying don't get acrylic storage bins, which at first I was like, I wonder why. Then you could see what's in the bin, but I wonder if it just ends up looking cluttered at the end of the day. So tell me your thoughts on acrylic storage bins. Should we get them? Should we not? I don't think I would really go that direction in general. I do have acrylic organizers in my drawers, but when it comes to like a linen closet, I usually go for more, I don't know, like rattan. Expensive candles, whether it's a taper candle or a pillar candle or whatever it may be. I've done some testing on this because I've been a prop stylist now, I'm not a prop stylist anymore, but I was for almost 10 years, and I've had to source a ton of different candles, and I can tell you firsthand, the more expensive they are does not mean that they last longer. I've actually bought pretty expensive candles, and then they drip down within the hour. So I don't think you need to go and waste your money on expensive candles. I think you could just get the beeswax candles, which I promote all the time, just because they aren't scented, and I don't think it's good to have a scented candle lit all the time in your house. If you're like me, I like to have a candle lit. Pretty much, I light it in the morning when I wake up and have my matcha. I light it at night. It just depends on the mood, but keeping it, non-scented. I'm just here for the flame. I'm just here for the ambiance. And finding a brand that just lasts longer is just more ideal. But that being said, I do think it's nice to have one expensive candle. I do like the Flamingo Estates tomato candle. It just smells good, and I like to have one on hand for when people are coming over or whatever. I'll light that candle, but don't waste your money on expensive candles, especially for everyday use. Only when you're trying to impress, you can get a good expensive scented one. That doesn't mean that it has to be expensive, actually. Flamingo Estate is just expensive, so shout out. Don't waste your money on expensive dishware unless you are not using it, or you're not clumsy and you don't have kids, or you're just really rich. I don't think you should spend money on expensive dishware. I'm breaking dishware all the time. That's just who I am. I've accepted it. I am that girl at the party that you hand a glass of wine to, and I would be the one to spill it, and I would be the one to break it. It's unfortunate, but you take what you can get in this life, and that's what I was dealt. And so that being said, I don't buy expensive dishware. I don't think it's worth your money to buy really pricey china or glassware unless you are okay with using it. I don't love having things, well, I don't, but I don't have things that I don't use. But like if I had dishware that I spent like $3,000 on, not that any of us are really doing that. Okay, $1,000, let's say. I would just be a little more nervous to use it. Whereas you could go thrift something that was expensive at once. I'm not saying to buy cheap dishware, but I guess I'm just saying to thrift it or find a unique source for dishware. All my stuff is from Utsuya no Yokata. That's where all my stuff is from. And the prices are comparable to like CB2. I also think CB2 has some good dishware in general. Just mix it, buy some things new, buy some things thrifted, find a unique place that makes stuff that's more affordable. You can mix in some pottery, but basically don't spend an amount where you're going to be like, hey, wait, whoa. Yeah. Did you like that impression? I got a ton of responses about cheap picture frames, IKEA picture frames, cheap picture frames in general. I agree with that. I don't want to be repetitive in saying you could thrift a picture frame, but you can. I think finding picture frames off Etsy or finding ones that are good quality. I do think CB2 does have good quality frames, but IKEA and honestly, sometimes like Zara Home will have like these fake finishes on the frames, and I just don't think it's worth it to buy a cheap picture frame because you're gonna have that forever. Once you frame something, it's like, don't you want it to look good forever? Forever. Don't waste your money on fake leather. If you're going to buy a leather product, make sure it's real and old, probably. I feel like if I'm going to buy a leather club chair or something, I want it to be old and used and already worn in, and it has that look of like the worn in leather look. So I wouldn't waste your money on anything that's cheap leather, even if it looks good. It's just, or not cheap leather, fake leather. Don't do fake leather. Bottom line. I got a lot of submissions on that, so I had to tell you. And same with fake brass. It's not worth it. It's not going to age nicely. The reason you get brass is so it can patina and, look used over time. But if you're getting fake brass or just like a cheap gold, it's going to be something you're going to want to replace. Silver and gold, they go back and forth. Back in college, I only wore gold. Now I wear more silver, but I still wear gold. Like, it's a good mix. You can always mix, I got my gold pinky ring, which all of you are always asking about this. Or is it brass? Or it's like, what is this? But I don't know where I got it. So that's that. And then silver, mix and match. So just make sure to put your money into the real deal, because maybe brass isn't my favorite thing right now. I'm like, you don't need to have a brass faucet. But that being said, silver, brass, chrome, they all go in and out. So just make sure to get the real deal, and you'll always be in style. I want to end on this last note because I have been sponsored by this company way in the past, and this could get me in trouble in the realm of YouTube, but I got a lot of responses saying don't invest in this, and I do agree with this. While on the other hand, I do still think that they are good products. Pots and pans from trendy companies, I don't think you need to invest your money in that. I don't think it's worth your money You can really get some good pots and pans at your local Marshall's, Home Goods. I don't think you can go wrong. You can get nonstick. You can get, the regular, more safe kind. You can get chemical free or whatever these trendy places are advertising. Yeah, they look cute, sure. But you also could just get stainless steel pots and pans and it looks good. I still have my pots and pans from, I forget the name, but it's this company. I feel like they were one of the first. They were one of my, this was 4 years ago and I still have them and they're still good. But do I need, a cute gray beige pot and pan? No, I can just go, buy it, a stainless steel one or whatever for half the price. I did get these gifted and they were my sponsor and I do recommend them. If this is your style, I actually do think they are good. I'm just saying it might not be worth your money. It might be a waste of money. Don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses. Do what you want and invest your money in the correct areas. Get high quality items. Don't go cheap in certain aspects and you'll be golden and you'll be a golden girl and your bank account will like you in the long run. Maybe you're dropping a little bit too much money right now on that rug, but in the long run, you're going to have that rug forever. I have rugs that are my forever rugs. Also, that actually brings me to this video idea that someone requested, which I actually think is such a good idea, is where, was that was a weird sentence. Anyways, you can submit your forever items. What are some items in your home that are your forever items? I definitely have forever items in my house where I'm I will never get rid of this. I also have some items in here where I'm I like this for this house, but when I move, I would sell it because I'm always down to sell and rebuy because all of my stuff is vintage or whatever. So I want to know what some of your forever items are. So I guess follow me at Wasslepaw when I'm taking those submissions. I did have someone comment on my video being she's reupholstered her sofa twice and blah, 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 blah. She's wasteful. But I'm also doing that for fun and for you all. I bought that sofa, reupholstered it, put in some time, put in some effort. And then I was I kind of want to do that again. So I'll sell it to one of you and do it again. I don't think I would necessarily do this if I wasn't on YouTube. I mean, maybe I would, but I'm not just trying to do things just to do things. I genuinely was all right, someone would like this sofa and I would like to redo it. So I don't know why I went on that tangent. And before I let you go to do whatever you're doing, you probably have to go wash your dish if you're eating right now, or put it in the dishwasher, or just put it in the sink. Or leave it on the table. I don't know how you do. But I'll leave you on this, that I am doing a re-release of my first product ever was the wine glasses, along with the Nalgene tote, along with the striped coasters. I thought the three of these looked really cute together, and I have some extras of the totes and the coasters that I pulled aside for some future things. And we are getting all new wine glasses made. There's going to be It's a decent batch, but it's on the smaller end of these. And this will be your last time to get this. I won't ever be re-releasing these wine glasses again. So I believe the launch date is September 28th, I believe. But I will keep you posted. I usually write these launch dates in the description, and I'll definitely be talking about it again. But I'm excited. So hopefully you are too. All right. What time is it? It is 2 p.m. It's really unlike me to film around this time. And I actually need to go to the dry cleaner. And then I need to work. So, bye.